The Board of Certified Advanced Estheticians meeting is convening at 9:03 a.m. on February 20th, 2025. This meeting is being held in person and through MS Teams video conference and is being recorded. The recording will be posted to the internet for public viewing. I will now call roll. Christy Knapp? Here. Jamie O'Neill?
Here.
Kimberly Canaday? Kimberly Canaday?
Here.
Kimberly Robinson? Not present. Rachel Anthony?
Here.
Olivia Gill?
Here.
Christina Russ?
Here.
Marcy McKee? Marcy McKee? Have her listed as not present.
Okay, that sounds good.
Members, when you wish to speak, please. Okay. Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the record. Board members are asked to not use the chat feature during meetings. The Health License Office asks that individuals attending through MS Teams keep their phones muted and cameras off during the entire meeting or until they are given an opportunity to comment during the public and interested parties feedback period if indicated on the agenda. Public comment is limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda or topics relevant to what this board has statutory authority to regulate. Public members wishing to speak, please sign in on the roster sheet available in the room or email Josh Page at josh.page@ohaoregon.gov and provide your first and last name. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and protocols when conducting board business.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Bob Bothwell. I'm the director here at the Health Licensing Office. And first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. And if we can get a motion to approve the agenda and then a second and then a roll call.
Canaday, I make a motion to approve.
The motion to approve the agenda.
So Olivia, is that a second?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Chair,
And do you need me to take a vote to approve the agenda?
Yes, and you can leave Kimberly and Marcy off at this point unless Marcy's joined us, but I don't think so.
Okay, I will take a vote to approve the agenda. Please respond by saying yay or nay. Christy Knapp, yay. Jamie O'Neill?
I think she just exited. I'm not sure if she's trying to reconnect.
Shall we hold for a second? Or we have enough to continue?
Should still have enough, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll continue on, and if I see her name come up, I will circle back to hers. Kimberly Canaday?
Yay.
Rachel Anthony?
Yay.
Olivia Gill?
Yay.
Christina Russ?
Yay.
So that is 5 approval, and is Jamie O'Neill back on?
She is not.
Okay. Do you guys want to proceed without her, or do you want to hold for a moment so that she can hop back on?
We can proceed. I'm just going to go over the director's report. In the meantime, Josh, can you reach out to her?
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay. Good morning, everybody. And for the record, again, this is Bob Bothwell. The first item, or excuse me, the next item is the director's reports. And if you're following along, we are going to be starting on slide 9 with the board membership. And on that slide, it discusses, there's at the bottom some links with regards to required trainings that are once per term and annually. So there's an overview of the boards and commissions, which is required once per term.
Not a member.
The next link is information and
I
security.
wasn't, but I am now.
Josh. Okay, he's muted. Sorry about that, everybody. So there's information security training foundations, which is required annually. Preventing discrimination and harassment is required annually. And then there's the Government Ethics Commission law, which is optional, but for all the board members, I would request and suggest that you take that training because Chrissy, as any of the board members may have noticed that your scripts have changed a little bit. And that's going to take us into the government ethics new rules and public meetings law on slide 11. So back to what I was saying, there's been some changes in regards to the Ethics Commission's new laws, meeting laws, which basically HLO has had to create a link and a complaint portal, so to speak, on our webpage for each of our programs that have board meetings. So the public or anybody can reach out to HLO to file a complaint against a board member or the chair for any alleged ethics violations. And there's a list of things that have to take place, such as they have a certain number of days from the day of the alleged violation to file the complaint. And then we have to forward it to the Ethics Commission. And then there has to be a response, I think within 21 days. I think that's what it is, but it's on our website. And then the piece that is most important is that it's the board chair or the board members. They would all be investigated for the alleged violation and then a rendering of whether it was founded or an unfounded situation. And there have been a couple of situations already that the governing body had some violations, ethics violations, but they were not issued civil penalties. They were just given some training. But the government ethics, it does have the authority to issue civil penalty violations for public meeting laws violations. So it's a new chapter in what is going on with public board meetings. And as we learn it better ourselves, we'll share out. But you can go to our website and actually there's a link on slide 11 at your convenience. You can go in and review those rules yourself too. And we are here to help you with any questions if we can answer them. If not, we'll get you pointed in the right direction.
We're going to send out an information piece after the meeting as well. This is Sammy.
Thanks, Sammy. Yeah, I forgot about that. And I think, Chrissy, you may have already received something about it, but we'll get to the rest of the board members and to you again.
Great.
With regards to the current board membership status, which is back on slide 10, I'm not going to regurgitate the whole thing for everybody. Chrissy, you are in a second full term and that expires December of 25. You can't reappoint. And then we have Olivia Gill, who's in her first partial and can reappoint and it's pending reappointment. And everybody else is in a first term and is able to reappoint. And Chrissy Pickett, who is our new executive support, she will be reaching out to those of you whose times are coming up for reappointment, such as Kimberly Canaday in June. So Chrissy will be reaching out to you for those to see where you're at, if there's anything we can do to help you get reappointed. Any questions on that? Okay, we're moving quite quickly today. The next slide I'm looking at, if you're following along, is slide 14. And in fiscal year 2025, in Q1, we've had 23 licenses issued. Q2, there was 25. In Q3, there has been 6. Licenses renewed. This board, these professionals are doing very well with online renewals. We'd like to see it become a little better. But of the licenses renewed in Q1, 94 were on paper, 94 were online, 44 were on paper, 157 in Q2 were online, 30 were paper. And in Q3, there have been 14 online and 10 by paper. On slide 16 is a graph of licenses licensed by age and gender. And we can see that this program is predominantly dominated by those identifying as females. On slide 17 are the licensing trend, and there's some 0.4 in Q4 of 2024 and in Q1 of 25. These are just averages. That's why there's a point there. So on average, currently in Q2 of 2025, when this report was run, there was 661 on average. The next slide, on slide 18, are the stats for the laser surgery examination statistics. And you can see that in fiscal year 2024, there was a total of 37 tests taken, 33 passed. And so far in 2025, there's been a total of 54. 51 have passed, 3 have not. And I misstated the 2024 facts. There's a total of 123 taken with 14 failing. Any questions on these statistics so far? Seeing none, moving on to slide 19 is the financial board report, and the board is sitting very well. Had a beginning cash balance of 160,209, revenues of 64,606, expenditures of 33,010, and a net operations of 31,596 with an ending cash balance of 191,805. So the cash balance and the beginning balance and the ending balance are pretty close, and that's exactly where we want to be. And there's enough money in reserve in case there's a big case that we get wrapped up in. Okay. Any questions on the fiscal and statistical reports? All right, the next item is the regulatory report, and that report is actually on slide 21. And Trampus isn't here today, so I will cover this real quickly with y'all. In 2023, there's a total of 17 cases. 2 of those cases remain open, and you can see if you're looking that those are service provided. So exactly what happened in those cases, I don't know. 2025, we've had a total of 6, and 3 of those cases are still remaining. One of those is a licensing concern, and then there's 2 more that are services provided. Also on the chart are complaints by type. So you can see in 2023, there was 9, and that's the biennium, 2023 biennium. There was 9 with licensing concerns, and 8 of those, and 8 additional service provided cases as well. In 2025, with the 6 cases, So far, we've had one licensing concern, one safety and sanitation issue, and 4 of services provided. And in the next block, complaints by type, 1 complaint was anonymous, 3 were from compliance, and 19 were from another source. That could be another practitioner, doctor, family member, which that could fall under client as well. And there you have it. That is the regulatory report. Any questions on the regulatory report? Okay. Next is the policy report. Sammy, take it away.
Hello, everybody. This is Sammy. I just have a brief report. There's nothing that's really directly affecting the advanced aesthetics group, but there's some overarching things that HLO is watching that would affect possibly how we do business, how people could get licensed, things like that. They're more overarching. So Senate Bill 13 allows for the agency to look at experience in lieu of a high school diploma. So that's if some of our boards require a high school diploma and sometimes they don't have it, they can't get it, they can't find it. So this is giving another option to be able to, accept something besides the high school diploma. So Senate Bill 207 is for the Board of Cosmetology, creates provisional certificate, which is it's basically an apprenticeship, but we believe it's an apprenticeship that also has schooling that would be required as well. So more to come on that one. We need some clarification. There's actually a sister bill, which is House Bill 2380. There's been no hearings or anything like that. So good to go there. There's some, this would be administrative where any of the staff who deal with people with internationally educated individuals would have to take culturally responsive training. So that one has a hearing scheduled for the 27th. So we'll see how that goes. 665, which already had a hearing, would take certain fines and civil penalties and moves them immediately to the general fund. So how that would affect HLO is fines that are levied against practitioners or facilities. That money comes back into the HLO pot and then it's dispersed however it's dispersed. It isn't part of our overall budget because we don't know what it's going to be. One year we could have $500, another year we could have $5,000. So it's never factored into the budget. So this is odd. So we're kind of just waiting to see it's had a hearing, and there are people on the fence about it. But basically the sponsor of the bill believes that the agency shouldn't be incentivized to make fines. So in short, a police officer does a lot of citations. So the police management people give him a raise so that he'll do more citations. So that's kind of where he was at, but I don't know where it's going to go. We'll just wait and see. Senate Bill 800 expands the provision for tax compliance, and Bob, jump in anytime if I'm doing this, if I'm saying something wrong, which is in order to get a license be reinstated or renewed, we must get a certificate from Department of Revenue saying that you don't owe any taxes, or you're in a coordinated, that you're approved to renew. But I believe this only happens in groups of professionals. It isn't everybody all the time. It's like it could be estheticians. So all of them would have to do it. Is that right, Bob?
Yeah. So if the profession, I don't know how revenue gets their statistics, but if they determine a profession is not within 95% compliance as a whole, the entire profession, then the entire profession, i.e. certified advanced estheticians, if they determine that that the profession is not within 95% compliance, then everybody in the profession that's licensed has to get a certificate of compliance issued. Apparently you can print it off online from the Department of Revenue, but it's still pretty confusing exactly what their drive is other than to get taxes paid. I don't know, but I've had meetings with them, and we explain that it's a monumental task for, say, cosmetology, where we have thousands of licensees. So, and then multiple professions broke down within cosmetology. So yeah, I mean, it's out there. They've had, I don't know if they did have a hearing on it, and we've had a conversation with Revenue, but we still are kind of confused on exactly what the drive is and how they intend to make it happen if it were to pass.
Okay, if anybody needs has questions about the legislative process, go ahead and jump in at any time. So 844 makes some changes to our environmental health registration board. So it's got some housekeeping changes. Senate Bill 950 makes changes to this Board of Sign Language Interpreters statutes. I won't go into the details about that, but it's adding an interpreter in training. People allowed to work on a temporary basis if they're from out of state, things like that. And they became licensed their bill passed in 2023. And so this is trying to clean up some of the things that are problematic from the original law. So that's trying to clean it up. There you go. 2380 is again the sister bill to 207 about cosmetology. 2585 would add, is that right? No. Oh, I don't know why I have this on here. Just because. So this directs the health authority to establish a process to receive and review scope of practice requests. This doesn't include advanced aesthetics. The only program of ours it includes is direct entry midwives, but I think it's important because they do it for one. It's real possible that at some point they might do it for all. I do not know how they're going to make this work. It's going to be a lot of work, however it goes. So it hasn't had a hearing, so we're just kind of waiting to see. House Bill 2594 is creating the dental lab program where dental labs need to register with the health licensing office and in order to operate. So it's any dental lab that's not within a dentist's office, basically. And the purpose we think about of the bill is so that the chemicals and product being used to make dentures or whatever you're making can be tracked. So this is the third time it's been up. So I'm gonna take a wild guess that it's gonna pass, but you never know. We'll just have to wait and see. But that would add more licensees to HLO. Bob, do you know the number
Of licensees?
Yeah, that they expect.
Yes, approximately 200.
Okay. And they have a hearing scheduled on February 20th, and I think then we'll know more as far as how it's going to start unfolding, going through the legislative process. House Bill 2692 modifies administrative rule process, and I added this on here just because it's a lot of changes. It's trying to be more transparent and give the public more information. So and actually the governor has now put out a mandate that by May 1st, all executive branches have to have all their rules on one click from the main page, and a bunch of different criteria that we have to meet. So it kind of falls in line with that, but obviously the governor's mandate is something we have to do now. This has to pass in order to be required. So and 2987. Oh, this is just a study that would study compensation for state board and commission members. So they're gonna look at what people get paid, I think, which at HLO I believe it's I don't know how it works anymore. I'm not even going to try. It used to be $30 everybody got, but I don't think that's right anymore. So that's all I have. And then at the bottom, I gave my name and number in case you have questions. And then the link to the Oregon Legislative Information System is like a wealth of information that you can go in and just review bills. You can search by terms. I mean, it's a very good website. You can read testimony. Yeah, it's a good website. So if you have questions or want to start, want to track, I don't know, something about boards and commissions or whatever, you can go out to that website and like tell it to tell you about this bill and that bill and this committee. So it's very interesting. And this is in your packet, but I will send it as a separate attachment when we send the Oregon Government Ethics Commission information. Any questions?
This is Christy Knapp. I have a question. If we feel that some of these bills affect our board or our peers in the industry, is this something we would get involved with as a board, or we would get involved as individuals? Could you maybe just shed a little bit of light on that question?
Yes. So, and most of the time you'd want to present as an individual. There are rare cases where OHA would let the board make some kind of testimony about whatever the bill is, and it would be like something really public safety related. Otherwise, we always, the agency, all the boards take a neutral, not even a neutral position, like no position. Just because we have to be in line with the governor, and how we don't know how the governor is, are we aligned with them? So if we just take no position, then we're always in a good place. But we can help you draft testimony for yourself, kind of give you a template. So if you want to do that, we're absolutely happy to help make that happen.
Christy Knapp here. Thank you for answering that. I think the question, like, as you guys are going through these lists of what is up, there were just a lot that actually could potentially affect our board and how our licensing does business. And so I guess I've never been through that process. So it's very interesting to see how that could potentially affect us.
Like which one are you? Oh,
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, from the very first one, even like Senate Bill 13, when you're talking about, that was the one regarding education, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, in lieu of yes, experience in lieu of high school diploma.
Just speaking as a person who's gone through the entire licensing process, I feel that you just wonder if it has the potential to lower standards and not raise them. Those are just the kind of questions that I would have for our particular scope of practice.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I believe that some people made that argument. So it kind of just, I mean, you're right. It could lower standards, but it also could be somebody who never graduated, but they've worked, 20 years in an industry, and they've got experience, and that's really kind of the foundation for it, is that you're looking at experience, that outweighs a high school diploma. So and that's kind of where they're at with it. And for us, we have had a lot of issues with this. It's not our bill, it's not OHA's bill, but this has come up many, many times with some of our boards where they don't have the diploma. They can't show us proof because the building burnt down or whatever the situation is. And I believe we've had to have people like go back and take the GED test.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, I mean, it does hinder people to get a license sometimes. But this would allow for, the agency to determine if there is some kind of experience that could be equivalent. And we there may be an amendment to the bill that cleans some of it up and gives you a little more specific guidelines as to what we would be looking for.
Thank you, Sammy.
You're welcome. And if you have other questions, give me a call, send me an email. I'm happy to walk through the process.
Great.
Hey, Sammy, this is Bob. I just want to pop in real quick and share and remind the board members that if they decide to go to the Capitol or get on a test, be able to testify to legislature or send in testimony, that they can share that they are board members, but that they are testifying as an individual or as a person in the profession, but not as a board member. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
That was all I had, Sammy.
Okay, I don't have anything else. If there's any other questions, happy to take them. Otherwise, it's public and interested parties feedback.
Okay, at this time, the Board of Certified Advanced Estheticians will hear public and interested parties feedback. Public comment is limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda or topics relevant to what this board has statutory authority to regulate. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes and will not be allowed if they are disruptive to the board's conduct of its business. If you are called on to comment, HLO staff will request the public member to unmute themselves. The chairperson and HLO reserve the right to end a person's comment early and have HLO staff mute the public member if the comment does not pertain to matters listed on the meeting agenda or topics relevant to what this board has statutory authority to regulate. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment? If so, please raise your hand or use the MS Teams raise hand feature and wait to be acknowledged.
I am not seeing any. This is Bob. Chair, since there are no public members, it appears, and nobody wants to make any kind of a statement to the board, then we can move on if you wish.
Bear with me a second, just going through my notes here. That covers everything that was on my agenda. Do you guys have other items?
Is that for HLO chair or for board members?
Either.
I don't think we have anything else for HLO. I don't know if any other board members have anything for other board business. And this is Bob again. Sorry. Chair, it's a very quiet group today.
Yeah. I'm still pondering all the things Sammy said.
Well, take a look at the materials, and OLIS is a very good site and a very good site to go to for information. And you can actually, if there's been a hearing, they are recorded, so you can actually go back and listen to the testimony if you wish.
Great. So with that, shall we adjourn?
Ma'am, you are the chair.
Anyone
And
else have anything?
Okay. It looks like you can
Alright.
adjourn this, chair.
All right. This meeting is adjourned at 9:37 a.m.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Have a good one.
Have a good day.